Uh, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV. We are going to get this live stream started, so pull your starships over and get ready for another daily show here on Cobra TV.
Everybody, I hate to throw out this interruption, but it's probably for the best. I gotta go because I don't know where I'm at.
You better put seatbelts on your ears because Cobra's about to take them for the ride of their life on Cobra TV.
And when we ship the game, not everything will be possible, but this is a game I think we're going to be making for quite a while, even after it comes out.
You have these people that are going to be able to buy this game on Xbox, and they are being actively driven away by people who haven't played this game in the last year. They're going off of this whole idea that, like, Sean Murray lied in 2016, and they're still using that to steer people away from No Man's Sky. And it's an unfair criticism. We have to be louder than the people that are talking about 2016 and driving away potential, new members of our community in the Xbox crowd for something that, one, wasn't true then and is especially no longer.
So Cobra said we could record messages and they might get played on the show, and it was fine if they were strange or weird. So in the spirit of things, I thought I'd write a poem dedicated to my favorite caller in on the subcast. Okay, here we go. I cry out to the old gods, desperate for replies. Subcast Jason, the apple of my eye. Desperate for his attention, my adoration turns to sighs. For he notices me not, instead I play No Man's Sky. But till he notices me shall my heart forever pine, as I gaze into his demigod-like eyes. In the name of Jason I create a portal, for it is here that his next adventure lies.
Hello, Cobra Television and all the Cobras. I have a question regarding the No Man's Sky. Do you think that the No Man's Sky, is it one giant universe, or is it maybe one galaxy in multi-dimensional interfaces, where every player is in fact the same player and there is only one person playing No Man's Sky this whole time because of the lies? Thank you.
You tuned in to the only station in the galaxy, broadcasting right from Euclid. Whether you're watching or listening, this is Cobra TV, and this is a podcast.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
What is going on, travelers, interlopers, traders, and farmers, explorers, bounty hunters, pirates, and you strange, glowing entities out there, Viking, Korvax, and you disgusting Gek. May the Atlas allow my voice to fall upon every strange ear, and that this space transmission reaches every galaxy and dimension. Tonight, we are broadcasting from the Euclid Galaxy, somewhere deep in space. This is The Daily Show on Cobra TV. Call in today and let's make contact. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to the live show here on Cobra TV. We are doing something a little bit different as far as streaming, where I'm using Restream. I'm also using Streamlabs, and things are a bit different. So, there's probably going to be a major technical difficulty fiasco today, because there's some things that I'm dealing with at the moment that I'm not entirely familiar with. So we've got the notifications for subscribers, and we've got some notifications for the super chats as well. So hopefully, I missed one last time I was streaming. Hopefully I won't do that again. So big shout out to Cuz Walt. I missed his donation, and I feel so horrible for that. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of missions. Missions in No Man's Sky. Streaming live every day is very difficult. It's very difficult. And so we'll still take callers today. I feel like the Where conversation on my behalf is getting a little bit out of hand. So I'm going to back off of Where for just a little bit. After all, we got one more day, and I think we're going to see something anyway. Something's going to happen on the 28th. I don't know what it is, but something. So we will be taking callers on this show, and I'm going to forewarn anybody who's watching this stream. I am absolutely horrible at playing the game live, reading chat, and talking to subscribers. Talking to anyone who calls in. I'm horrible. So I can't balance them all at once. That's why I don't stream live gameplay. I just cannot do it. And the only way I could do it is by just not looking at the chat and not taking any callers. But this is the subcast. So call in today, and let's see what kind of conversations we get into. We can get into. This is you know, we'll see where the show goes. There's no topic for today, so whatever you guys want to call in and talk about, I'll leave that up to you. Until then, we are just going to play the game and see what happens on this episode. So, disclaimer, I don't know how much I'm going to be playing. We're going to get some callers on the call. We got Jacob who wants to come on. And he didn't say anything last time, so let's see what happens this time. Jacob, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
All right, we got Jacob's voice. What happened last time, bud? You didn't talk.
Well, I just didn't want to come on.
Huh?
I just didn't want to come on the show.
Oh, okay. So you messaged
before.
me. That's why I brought you on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to come on the show and listen to Skype call.
Oh, you just wanted to come on and hang out? That's cool. That's cool, man. You're always welcome to do that, dude. How you doing today, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Get ready to get this show started, get some callers on here, and play the game for a little bit. I tell you what, Jacob, it's really hard streaming every day. It really is. And it's not hard to stream every day. What's hard is coming up with new topics and not consistently talking and beating the dead horse that's called Where. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, maybe you should take a break for a little bit. Maybe you should only update. Maybe you should take a break and not upload streams or anything, and just do Wake and Titan for a week. Yeah, I was thinking about streaming every day. Maybe tune it down to maybe 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah, and you could upload only just Wake and Titan news.
Right. Big shout out to Natalie in the chat with that wrench, keeping everything nice and calm down there in the chat. Thank you so much, Natalie. So yeah, we got Easy G in the chat. We got Fifu. We've got Kill Illuminati, Seekite. You are Godsmack. Sandarin. Marky Mark is in the chat. We got UFO Truth. Oh, such a cool name, buddy. We got Explore. I am Merkin and Lot RC Defender. Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. We're going to get Andy on the call as well. We got another caller. This one. Okay, hang on just a second. Everyone's calling. What's going on, bud? Thank you so much for coming on Cobra TV. How are you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, bud.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear a name. I just got on. Okay, and turned up my volume. Glad to be here, Cobra. I listen every night.
Thanks, man.
Since you've been on every night. Let me shut that down. And when you said missions, I realized I can't really contribute in that way because I've never done any missions, but I was on a mission that I created, which was see how much damn money I can get. And I found a limit.
Did you?
It will not let me have another dollar.
Why? Well, what are you at?
4,267,000,000 and change. And no matter what I sell, it won't give me another dollar. It's just some kind of glitch. But I have over $1 billion worth of, that's with a B, in a freight or in one of my ships on the freighter. I have those stasis devices and fusion igniters, $1.3 billion worth, and I went to sell them, and I realized my money didn't go up. I was like, holy shit! I went back to my save, and then found out that even when I sell one little piece of plutonium, or I mean anything really, it won't give me a dollar. So if I spend money though and buy something, I can recoup that.
Oh wow!
But that was my mission, and it now has ended, I guess. I can't see. I wanted to see how much money I could get, but that's that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the limit. 4.3 billion is the limit.
Oh, we got a donation from Seekite.
wait.
Let's see if the notification works. I don't think it's going to. Thank you, Seekite. Hashtag, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, buddy.
Well, he just said something there in the background that almost like he had read that or heard that somewhere. He was affirming that, yes, 4.3 billion is the limit, or he was just repeating what I said.
Yeah, it is. I've actually seen it is the limit. Loads of people have said that it's the limit. So it is. It's in the game.
Oh, so it's not, I don't have a glitch then. It's just how much money you can have.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I'll take the rest of it on a gift certificate, and it's just like keeping stock. So if I sell money, I just go sell a stasis device and I get my 18 million back that I spent, whatever. But it's all going to be for naught anyway, right? Are we going to have to reset and lose everything?
No, you're not going to lose everything. No, the only thing that's going to happen is you're like the last time we reset, the planets changed. So I had an exotic, beautiful planet, had awesome purple grass. And then when Atlas Rises came out, it completely changed the planets, and I was on a disgusting planet. And so that's what the Great Reset means. You're not going to lose anything that you own, your money, your units, your nanites. Yeah, none. You're going to keep all that. It's just the reset's just going to bother up your base.
I don't have a base. Everything's on my freighter, and I closed down all my hydroponic beds, closed down all the rooms. I have nothing built there. And the base that I have is going to be gone the next planet I find with a base. I'm just going to establish there but not build anything. So it's all there in the cache. And brace myself. I'm already ready. I've almost stopped playing, really. Every once in a while I'll take a ship that I don't really want and I'll set at a base and wait for something to trade or buy. But I don't touch the controller. It's just sitting up there on the PlayStation. I just sit there and stare at the screen and wait for ships, and that gets boring. So,
isn't that relaxing though? Just sitting there watching that happen.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
It can also be irritating that the same damn ships keep landing. And where are all these exotic ships I'm hearing about? I'm in an affluent or the other choices that I'm not thinking of. But the rich, the wealthy systems.
Do you have your portal glyphs?
I've never had a glyph. Not
okay. Well, if you had your portal glyphs, you'd be able to go to Reddit and look and see where some of these ships are, and where they spawn in, and then you could go to those.
I do see them spawn in from time to time.
Oh, okay.
But it's the infrequency of it that is. It's not reasonable. That it might be reasonable if I were in a poor or destitute system that I might see one in 3 hours. But if I'm in a wealthy system, I don't want to wait 3 hours for it. I want one every 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my complaint with it.
Yeah. We got Andy on the call. Andy, how you doing, bud?
What's going on, Cobra?
Nothing much, man. Just doing a live stream, probably getting ready to start playing the game for a little bit and just have a little bit of a chat. You know, I feel like, oh, we got Sword donating. Thank you, Sword. Hashtag Sword in the chat. What a Cobra, man. Thank you, Sword. Oh, it was Sword that I missed a donation from, I think. Not Cuz, Sword. It's a big thank you, buddy. I think I was telling Jacob, I think I'm beating Ware like a dead horse, you know, because I just can't understand it, and I think I just need to shut up, wait, and see what this is. Tomorrow, something is supposed to happen, because they gave a date out of the 28th, so I guess we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, I think most of us are pretty confused as to what will come out of Ware, so to go away from it for a bit is it's a bit relaxing. But shout out to I'm sorry, I think it was David for the 4 billion. I thought I was hot stuff. I have 2,232,000,000 around there, and I thought I was pretty high up there. I thought I was getting close to the limit, but I didn't realize that the limit was 4 billion. One thing I've noticed though, like at some point with the journey milestones, it stopped recording.
Yeah, it did on mine too. It said my highest amount that I've ever had is 2 billion something, and I
2,147 around there.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a limit. I mean, can't you procedurally generate another damn number? You got 18 quintillion planets. How come I can't have 18 quintillion dollars?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, man. That's you'll be pretty set for whatever is coming in terms of units.
I kind of made up my mind that if there was a reset and I lost everything, I was just going to play in creative mode where I have everything that I want at my fingertips, because I pretty much do. You know, have so much stock of everything.
Yeah, I hoard a lot of stuff as well. I play in normal mode all the time. I have probably around maybe 1,200 hours or so on normal mode, but that's from the very beginning. There you go. But that's from the very beginning. So you know, I've never restarted that particular gameplay. I've done a few other ones, but normal mode is the one that I like.
Well, we are two of a few, I think, that have the original from the beginning game save.
Yeah.
But I have a file that's corrupted. My second game save is from back in March, and when I go there, my base is floating above the ground and everything's messed up. So if my game save messes up, I can't go to a previous save. That's kind of scary. And I hope
really is.
Away with the reset. Maybe that'll go away with the reset. But I put a USB port or USB thing into the PlayStation and saved my game a week or so ago. So if something happens, I can always go back to that.
Okay.
Better safe.
All right, so I'm up here just playing some missions and things like that. Let me check Skype and see if anybody else wants to come on. What, to get an opinion on Dave. Dave is, I like to having Dave on the call. Dave plays the game the way he wants to play it, and he doesn't deviate. He doesn't worry about a lot of the other things, like the portals and things like that. So I want to hear, and he's very critical about the game, which I love having Dave on the call. He doesn't hold any punches or anything like that. So I want to ask you, Dave, what do you want to see out of Next? the new update?
I want to see unlimited base building, only limited to my resources. Of course, I want to see orbiting planets. I want to see planets at a reasonable distance instead of everything being bunched together. I want travel from one planet to another in the same system even to be lengthy. And that makes the pirate thing a little more hazardous. Or maybe you stop every once in a while and recall your freighter so it's nearby or something. But a little more realistic, a little less cartoonish would be nice. Unlimited money, as we've already talked about. I guess that's about it. I guess, and I'd like to see what all the other ingredients are about, the bromide salt and the copper wiring and the 30 or so things that have never come into gameplay. Not for me anyway. Maybe you guys can tell me you use it for your portal stuff, or glyphs, but I have nothing to do with the lore. I don't follow the story. I don't talk to the Viking. I avoid them. I avoid the Korvax. I don't talk to anybody. I don't want any of their missions. I don't want any of their stuff at all. So
you're just pretty much just exploring and building and things like that, and that's it?
And I'd love to build. I love building bases. I've built many, and I've had a good time. Not like these guys that are artists. I'm just talking about a practical, functional base, you know, one that's all glass, one that's sort of halfway underground, one that's... Oh, and I'm disappointed with that. There's one thing that I would like to have. When I put something underground, I don't want to come back later and find that the ground is now inside my base. And I can't get to my hydroponic beds because now there's a wall of rock there. You know, and you can't pull out your terrain manipulator inside and move it. So it's something that we all know you can build down as far as up, right?
Right.
With your base, but it won't stay that way. It will ruin itself later on. It will block your passage with rock and stuff. I'd love for them to fix that because I love sometimes just to have very minimal surface, but a huge base underground. That's one dream that I have to build.
I see. What about you, Andy?
Well, I sort of play a bit like Dave does. I do follow a bit of the lore. I try to do as many missions as possible, especially from the station. I have all 16 glyphs, but I have yet to actually jump using a particular address. I love exploring. One of my major things that I really, really like about the game is the ships, procedurally generated ships. I think you get some pretty cool combinations. Like Dave said, there's a couple of elements that, if you read the description, they're particularly for ship or for starship or freighter building. It would be nice if we could use some of those to change maybe wing positioning on the ship, or change the thrusters on it. Things like that would be nice, or even just change that. The outline of your slots within the ship. That'd be nice as well, because if you have something below a 48, you can have slots scattered all over the place, which compromises the way you stack technology.
That's a great one. I've never thought of that one, but I know I think of it every time I'm trying to organize a ship stuff. I wish I could just move it over underneath it and neaten it up a little bit. I don't know why they're so random. That's a great one.
I would like for them to take away the randomness of the entire starship aspect, in a sense where someone mentioned before having used starship lot in each system, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a lot. You can go to the station, find out what ships are in that system, and try to locate them either at a trading post or something like that, or try to intercept them. I don't know. It would be cool to take away the randomness, or at least let us build our own. That would be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I hope it's not too late. for Hello Games to be listening to those ideas and jotting them down and going, well, damn, I wish we'd have heard that last
Well,
month.
I've been saying that for a while now, so
Right.
so I hope it has resonated somewhere, either on Reddit or the CSD forum.
But you had a couple of original ones there I had never heard anybody mention.
Hello.
Hey, Curtis, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, Cobra. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. What brings you on today, man?
It's been a long time since I've been on. I was on during the whole last section of Waking Titan when you were streaming and got to talk a lot about the anniversary and all that. So I heard a lot of discussion about the whole Wear thing and some of the new speculations that we're looking for next. And I don't know. I hear a lot of the same stuff, but I don't know, man. I think that the whole Wear thing is probably not nearly as important as necessarily the announcement for it coming to Xbox and the Wii game. I mean, because really, like you were stating, the whole Wear thing is kind of slow moving this time around. And there's really not any kind of driving focus to bring attention to it. You know, there's a little blurb here and a little blurb there, and everybody gets hyped. And then it just immediately dies down. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I think you're right. In comparison, nowhere near important than the announcement that it's going to be on Xbox and Tencent Wii game. But what is important to me is why they put the logo on the advertisement for the launch of these two big platforms. That's what's important to me.
You know, I had an idea about that, and I don't know if anybody else has mentioned it yet. You know, we were talking about the one of the awards that you can win for this competition that's coming up is either the cash prize or a development box, right?
Right.
Okay. So and Rayrod has been huge in the modding community. I hear very few about other modders, and all I typically hear about is Rayrod's overhauls and immersion updates and stuff like that. Well, what if the development box that you get isn't necessarily for developing games, but supporting the modding community for No Man's Sky?
That could be possible. I've actually thought of that too, especially I mentioned a way for us to create our own little games and things like that with the No Man's Sky, and that's the reason why they're asking non-developers for game ideas and submit game ideas and things like that. So modding tools would actually make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think so.
That's super interesting.
Only for PC. It would be nice if we were to have him on PS4.
Well, I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah, Bethesda did it with Fallout 4,
and I mean, that's had a lot of bad publicity behind it, and a lot of the modding community was upset. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that Hello Games couldn't do the same thing and it actually be extremely successful.
We got another donation from from Sam Hickman. Sam, thank you so much, buddy. You're a Cobra. # Sam in the chat. I think I said this last night on the show. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm less interested about the ARG and most of the YouTube videos, and that's why I like watching your shows, because you cover a lot of the speculation and people get to discussion about what they'd like to see in next and everything. I'm more interested in that this time around than I am necessarily the ARG. And like the gentleman that was just speaking before, I can't remember his name, but he was talking about one of his missions was to max out as much cash as he could. And he reached a ceiling of like 4 billion units. And I had read somewhere that was like the ceiling, but in preparation for the new update. But the thing is like, as much as I absolutely love No Man's Sky, and just Jared did a video not too long ago about this, at the end of the day, we're really playing for units. I mean, that's really what it kind of boils down to. And I'm hoping that when we get next, that there's more to it than just that, because you are an avatar, even though you can't see yourself. I mean, you're representing a character in the game, right?
Right.
And it can't be just about cash. There's got to be other things that drive you to want to play, whether it's fleshing out the mission board system, and having more intricate missions, and maybe missions that are chained together that build faction. Maybe the goal for the missions is not necessarily for the currency, but is to increase faction with a certain species. Make more points of interest more appealing. In the game so far, what we've got, you've been one to Outpost. You've kind of been to them all. You've been to one monolith. You've almost been to them all, because I've seen a lot of the same repetition.
I've always thought there's absolutely no way that you can impress me with saying there's 18 quintillion planets or anything else when so many of them are so similar. There's really about 150 planets.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people don't necessarily leave the Euclid galaxy. Instead, they just kind of conform toward the center of it,
Yeah, and the center's no different than the outside was. I don't see any different fancier ships or more exotic or more dangerous planets than I did 177,000 light years ago.
Right, but I think the reason why a lot of people conform to the center of the galaxy is because I believe that the planets are more cluster type fit together, and because we can share bases, people can help each other out by allowing other players to utilize the resources and crops that they grow, again, so they can make stuff to sell and get more units.
Right.
I would like to see my sales affect the market and the price, so that when you happen to show up in the system, you notice a real drop in the price of, let's say, Geknip, because I'm selling so much of it, which I'm not, but just for an example. It's not a very profitable crop, really, but the more you sell, the more there should be available, and the lower the price should be. But it seems to have no effect whatsoever. And if I walk into a base and I go to their trade terminal and I don't see what I want, there's no reason to go out there to any of those ships and bother them, because 90% of them have exactly the same thing in the same proportions as inside at the trading post, the trading terminal. So that has got to change too. I want to see some variance. I want to see have no idea what I'm going to find when I go up to a ship. But it got to the point where at a trading post, I had a planet called Radon, and I knew that 3 different ships had radon on them. I knew 3 or 4 different ships that had sulfurine. And as I'm running up to the ship, I know that there's 542 units of radon in that ship. And I shouldn't have any idea what's in that ship.
Right.
They're procedurally generating exactly the same thing over and over again. That's unlikely.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see, a player-driven economy is actually what I would like to see in the game. And that way, when there's a market for a certain item, especially depending on what star system you are, because, almost every star system has a lot of the same minerals, but some minerals are less common, harder to find.
Gold.
And gold could be one of them. But that's where a player-driven economy would come into place. So if you landed in a star system, you're like, man, gold is rare, but I'm not far from another system where gold is real rich. I could be mining this stuff.
And that's what I thought it was from day one. I thought exactly that I would look in the system and see what they didn't have, produce it, and bring it there. And there was none of that.
There's been a few updates with each of the last updates to the economy system. It's still not perfect. I agree with you guys. It needs a lot of work, because you could flood the market in a particular system with with boards, and that doesn't really affect the price of them. If you flood the market, they should start going down in price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there should be consequences besides just the market. There should be consequences for the action. See, like when I'm a bit OCD. You know, and I pick one variation of the game, and I'm like, okay, I am going to get every single piece of tech that the vendor will sell with nanites, right? Well, I don't go from base to base and loot nanites. Instead, I destroy my faction and I blast the freighters and collect as much nanites as I can from that system, go purchase all the tech, and then warp to a new system and rinse and repeat. You know, and then I have all the tech in the game. Then I worry about rebuilding my faction. And once my faction is built up, then I worry about, you know, finding my S-class fighter and so on and so forth. And I just progress through the game like that until every achievement has been achieved, you know. But there's no recourse for that, right? Like, I think if you ruin one aspect of your faction with one of the species, it should be like 10 times as hard to rebuild that faction back up. And I think that, like, if you warp into a star system, right, and we know that pirates are a threat as well as sentinels at times, if you warp into a star system and your faction is ruined with the Gek, and the Gek are heavily dominating that system, then not only do you have to worry about the pirates, but you should be worrying about the Gek, because they're going to hammer you too. You know, but we don't get that. The only threat we really get in space are like the fighters and the sentinels.
Right. Totally agree. Yeah.
You know. So yeah, you know, I don't know. It's hard to really know, you know, what to expect with next. But I think we have a lot of ideas, and there's a lot of information out there that kind of hint towards certain directions or certain aspects of the game, within realistic view too. You know, like you said, multiplayer is a, you know, most definite. I think there's going to be a real overhaul on the multiplayer, and it's going to be really polished when we get the new update.
Actually, oh, sorry, Cobra, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, you know, before I forget, I wanted to, you know, I was letting you guys talk, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what you said about where and about and things like that. Well, I said this on the podcast last night on the subcast that I feel like this situation with Waking Titan could actually hurt the Xbox One release. And the reason why is because if they put that logo on the advertisement to get people involved in the ARG for the Xbox community, a lot of people in the PS4 community don't even care about Waking Titan. They don't care. They want to ignore it. They just want to wait. And also, as far as Waking Titan leads to a trailer, leads to an update. Sorry. Well, if Xbox wants to do a good advertising campaign, they can't with Waking Titan going. And I feel like the two are clashing together, and I don't like that because there's a lot of things about this launch that could be potentially hazardous. And one is not a good advertising campaign. Number two being the text that 505 Games is using on their site to sell the game. And the description it's going to blow up in our faces again. And I don't think anybody's really paying attention to the problem that could be coming our way.
I'd like to say something.
Sure. I was just going to ask. I'm not sure how Waking Titan would necessarily hurt their ad campaign, especially with E3 coming up.
Well, with Waking Titan, you know, it's all about the mystery. It's all about learning about the lore and learning pieces about the update. What could the update be? And that's what Waking Titan kind of delivers little by little by little by little. Right. The whole thing with the first Waking Titan was about the Atlas Rises. You know, it's about Emily. It's about the creation, and it was all hints to what the update could be. If I don't know how long Waking Titan's supposed to run, but we still have 5 glyphs to unlock, and If this is going to be coming out in the summer and all the dates, the rumored dates of July 24th and June 29th, you know, that means Waking Titan's got a long way to go before it ends. And how can Microsoft or Xbox release a new trailer showing what's in next to entice people from the Xbox community why they should buy it? I mean, because there's 1 billion hours of footage of what the game is right now for Atlas Rises on YouTube, and that's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Right.
Because everybody that comes by and says the game's still not worth it. And if you say, you should try Atlas Rises. It really changed the game. So it's not going to work. They need to advertise this game with brand new trailers for the Xbox community, and they can't do it with the next footage if Waking Titan's still going. It's not possible.
Maybe those ads begin the very day that the next release comes to the players that are playing now. They could be a month apart, didn't you say? You had 2 dates. What were those 2 dates again?
The 2 dates are June 29th and July 24th. Now
they're almost a month
rumors.
apart. So
well, hold on.
If one of them is next, and then they start the advertising, they'd have a month before the other one came out. For Xbox.
They're both rumors, but on GameStop, it's not a placeholder date because it's an actual Tuesday. It's not the last day of the month. They're actually calling it a street date. Okay, that's GameStop's. It's in their system as a street date of July 24th, and that's a Tuesday. It's usually when games release. That's for the Xbox. The only real rumor is Amazon's June 29th.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is that like when I'm just gonna, because it launched today, but you know, Avengers: Infinity War, right? I'm just using this as an example. When it launched, you saw one trailer, right? And you're like, oh, that's going to be cool. And then there was a couple more trailers released. Well, they do that to continue the hype, and I think Waking Titan's going to do the same thing up until the point of the E3, and it could be that E3. When Microsoft goes on stage, because they're not just going to present just No Man's Sky, they're probably going to present, you know, other things like tech and new games that are coming down the pipe for their company. They're just going to show you probably a glimpse of what's to come. They're not going to play their full hand because they want people to speculate. They want people to continue to imagine what's going to be in that game. Oh, I got to have it. I got to see what else is in there because I know they didn't show me everything. So I don't know that Waking Titan is going to dampen or hammer their ad campaign because Waking Titan, when they release tidbits of information through the ARG, you're not getting a visual. You're getting an imaginative idea of what is out there. When they say multiplayer and they hint toward that in the ARG, you don't visualize that. You see a visual representation of that. It just hints toward it, and you kind of imagine what could come from that. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, during the first Waking Titan, we actually got pictures of what some of the new exotic ships. So it was hinting at what the content was going to be.
Right, but that was at the tail end of the ARG, wasn't it?
It was at the end, but I wouldn't call it the tail end.
I'm kind of wrapped up on other stuff anyway, so we'll just make it something.
Well,
yeah, so I stand by that, man. I don't, unless, okay, here's what they need to do. They need to restructure the ARG to make it more enticing for some of these Xbox players. I talk to them on a daily basis. They message me, they comment, they have no idea. I had one Xbox guy saying, I don't know how do I get this Atlas Pass? I searched to see how there's people getting them in the mail, but when I searched on YouTube how to get them, there's like video tutorials how to get them in the game. What's going on? They have no idea what's going on. No idea. They don't know the lore of the game. They don't know Atlas Foundation. They don't know any of this stuff because they haven't played it. It's way too out of the loop for these guys to get excited about it.
Right.
I have a couple thoughts about, I've heard you say repeatedly, Cobra, that this ad campaign not changing, making the same claims that they made before, right?
Right.
I'm kind of torn on that because I'd like to think that, people learn their lessons, and I'd like to think that maybe there's just a little bit of stubbornness on their part where they're saying, no, we're not going to change a word because this game is going to be what we say it is.
And that's what that's what I
want to give that credit. But then again, they are the same company that goes months and months and a year or more without any communication with their fans. So a company that would do that could be dense enough to make a mistake like just letting some intern copy and paste, like you've mentioned, and later go, oops, yeah, we should have changed that. I don't want to think that they're dumb enough to do that, but I'd rather think it's the stubbornness that Sean Murray's literally saying, no, don't change it because that is the game. It's the game will be what I said it was going to be.
Right. And there's a lot of things you could look at too. Like a long time ago, we had something get updated, a branch, a build. It's called old build test or something like that. And that was uploaded to the Steam for a long time ago, and they've never done anything with that. A lot of people speculate that that's when they started working on next.
What was that, about a year and a half ago or so?
I don't know if it was.
Yeah, it was a while back. I'll check.
Yeah, it was close to that.
I remember the talk about it then.
So you could be right. I hope you're right. I've thought about that too. Like, nah, it's in the game. You know, so it's and they're tiny things. They don't bother me. I don't care. I already knew the center of the galaxy was what it was before we even knew, because Sean Murray kind of told us. You know what I mean? So I already knew what it was, and I already, none of those things bother me about the game. But an Xbox One player, YouTuber, is going to use that text to review the game.
Yeah, No Man's Sky old build test hasn't been updated for about a year.
Wow.
I don't know, man. A lot of this that's been going on over the last handful of months has really played into the fact the game is going to definitely change dramatically compared to what it is now. And, some of the stuff that's been stated, like multiplayer and procedural cities and possibly procedural dungeons, which that's iffy, right? I could see cities or outposts, changing, but I don't know about dungeons. But yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of that playing into it, into next. I don't know. I mean,
okay, hold on. How come dungeons seems iffy, but cities don't? Like, they actually mentioned before this game was released that they wanted to add dungeons into the game. They never said. They actually said they didn't want to add cities, but they did want to add dungeons.
What?
Right.
What
so
are dungeons? What are the dungeons for? I mean, you mean like where you chain people to the wall and beat them?
No. Sean Murray stated that, hey, we got these procedural rooms, and me and Grant were talking. It would be really cool to add these dungeons in the game, have little prizes down there, and it's something we're excited about. That was in an interview with Sean Murray and Grant Duncan way before the game was released.
Is dungeons a gaming term? Is it?
It's just rooms underground. Rooms
Okay.
underground.
Basement.
Yeah, kind of like places for you to get loot and kill stuff and progress through the game and solve mysteries and puzzles and all kinds of stuff. It's an art. Yeah, it's
all
an
the
art.
stuff I would just ignore.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
that's one of the
role-playing
reasons
element.
why they added the crash freighters in there. Because if you ever see, like, they add stuff in and they don't make sense, but later on in the next update they do. And I think maybe the crash freighters, maybe we'll see bigger freighters that we can actually go inside and go underneath and explore inside those freighters underground.
When
Maybe
I
that's how
found
they're
one of
going to
those
do that.
freighters crashed, I must have spent 30 minutes trying to get inside that thing and get what prize I was supposed to get for finding it, and there was nothing.
Well, if you look at a freighter when it's in space, it's huge, especially some of the capital freighters. So if those models were to actually be placed on the ground, would majority of them crashed underground, it would actually be a fairly large space to have a dungeon in.
So, to kind of answer Cobra's question, why I'm kind of iffy on that, I think they would rather test out what Sam Swain has got going on with maybe expanding on the outposts or having small cities and seeing how well it works, as opposed to tackling all aspects of procedurally generated buildings, cities, dungeons, you name it. I think the reason why I say that is because if their main focus is on that, then some of the other stuff, the content that's already in the game that needs to be fleshed out and polished, isn't maybe necessarily getting enough attention. There's a lot of assets, like Rayrod was mentioning in the game, that hasn't even been implemented in the game. And there's things that are in the game that, outside of just for selling, have no real purpose to it, right? And if you read some of the content in the dialogue boxes of the items that you are crafting or finding, they tell you what their intentional use is for, but yet you can't craft anything with those items. You just end up selling them for large amounts of units. I play on the PlayStation 4, and we mentioned Crash Faders as, that could be potentially foreseen as a dungeon if that's what they intend to use it for later. But I'll tell you, I was just dorking around in the game, and I used my multi-tool, and I was terraforming, eating away the terrain to try to dig out this freighter. And it became such a burden on my system that my PlayStation 4 locked up because it couldn't generate what the terrain looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it like literally crashed. I had to reset my system.
Even the Pro sometimes has like trouble rendering any manipulation you've already done to the terrain. If you go back to it, it's always kind of glitchy. It's always, I actually the other day got stuck on a wall that I created a few days prior. Right. Yeah, I had to restart the game and everything. So yeah,
that's kind of weird because you got the TOG guys, and the TOG hub. They're literally building buildings in the core of these planets. Like they're going down there and they're building actual bases down there.
That's impressive.
Wow. Now that's on the PlayStation? That's not on the PC?
Right, PlayStation 4.
Wow.
It's pretty cool stuff, man. It's really trippy going down there and seeing a base. They found a way to do it, like a little loophole, so to speak. And the bases, it all works. It's really cool.
So I mean, and it's just rooms that are carved out with the multi-tool. It's not actually.
No, this is actual building. This is them building their base
with assets from in the game.
Yeah. There's some kind of way you can get around it and build all the way down there. I don't know how they're doing it, but it's not mods. It's just regular PS4, and they just found a way to do it.
Well, that's crazy. I need to check that out then, because that's one of the things I would love to see, along with player-driven economy. I would love to see them remove the building restrictions and allow you to, have unlimited building ability, because it would be really sweet to set up your own outpost, a nice thriving city. And see, we hire some of the NPCs now to give us quests because we do like the construction, and then you got the weaponsmith, and you got the little the vehicle guy that gives you your vehicle. So you have all these different NPCs that you hire for your base so you can do these quests. It'd be cool to build a city, right? Or even a small outpost, and then hire a couple of traders to sell your in-game assets to other players.
It'd be cool if you can actually like claim a spot of land instead of designated areas where there are bases. If you find a place where, you're right next to a cave, it would be kind of cool to actually build within the cave. You could just, claim that lot of space. It could be a acre or two, whatever, and instead of always having to find a habitable base on each planet, that would be something cool that and you can expand it with the units. Maybe X amount of acres is X amount of units, and the bigger the acres, the more amount of units. It'll be actually a good use to it, especially some people that have 4 billion units.
Yeah, that would be sweet. And I mean, like, real estate's not an issue in the game.
It's space. Yeah, I could build a hell of a base with just a fraction of my money.
Right.
It's massive. It'd be like a damn super Walmart or something.
Cobra, I don't know if this is maybe just my the way that I read Sean's tweet right before the supposed leak came out, but the tone that I sort of read it with was that of a lot of optimism and a lot of just general happiness, in the sense of like, well, I'm excited to announce this despite it about to be leaked. But that's something that probably we haven't seen, since the game launched. And I feel that the next update is that significant that just Sean is probably a little a little confident at this point. The confidence in the tweet was, maybe just the way that I read it was, but I think that there was a lot of confidence in that tweet.
Oh, I agree with you. Like the letter that he wrote, he actually said that he's got surprises that he can't wait to show us. Oh
yeah, I forgot about the letter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that right there tells me, like, wow, this guy's blowing up his own update. He's like, talking his update up. And so I think if this update is definitely going to be significant. It's nothing that we've seen before. I think it's going to change the game a lot for us. I know that there's going to be added multiplayer to it, and it's almost a given that we're going to have player models this time around because they used the wisps, and we all know where they got those orbs from. That wasn't created for multiplayer. That's what they used a long time ago in the trailers for planet markers. So that's a reused asset. It's the exact same thing. If you go back and watch
when they're landing on one of the trading posts, you can see it at a distance. Yeah,
you can see them all over the place. It looks like a bunch of online players, but it's not. It's just planet markers. And so all they did was just take that asset and say, okay, this is placeholder art for the people. Let's write a little bit of lore for it and make it a little bit more cooler. Okay, so
I'm really excited for a potential player model. I think the orbs are cool. They have their own aesthetics to it. I personally would love a player model, especially you have a floating backpack every time that you go into your inventory, and it's like, okay, what is this backpack on? And your multi-tool just kind of comes out of thin air. It'd be kind of cool to associate a body with all those other aspects.
Right.
Multiplayer will be like, it's coming, and I'm not against it. I think multiplayer will be a great addition to it. I hope that's not the major bulk of the update, but I'm afraid that it probably will be the major bulk. I just hope that everything else is still surprisingly and mind-blowing enough that kind of keeps us quiet.
Well, think about what that means for a second if they're going to be adding multiplayer. So this is their biggest update of all. And Atlas Rises was huge, massive. So it's bigger than Atlas Rises. Okay. So if they're going to add multiplayer, they're not just going to add a player model and say, there you go, our biggest update yet. You know what I mean? So I know that it's going to have multiplayer because, that's definitely within their roadmap, as they stated in the last Atlas Rises blog. But what comes with that? Your mind starts to go spiraling. Like, are we going to? You have to have content to go with that. You have to have little mini games, trading with each other, which is something that Sean Murray actually mentioned in an interview right before the game launched, where he talked about the roadmap. He before the game hit the shelves, he talked about how there was going to be building bases, there was going to be exocrafts. There was going to be owning freighters. This is before we were able to buy the game, and this was uploaded to YouTube, and none of us seen it. None of us. He tattletaled on what all the updates were going to be, all the way up to, well, he didn't mention anything that was in Atlas Rises, but he mentioned Pathfinder stuff, and he mentioned Foundation update stuff. And so one of the things that he mentioned in that was trading. And I don't think that was just trading like what we have now. I believe that's trading with each other. And if you think about multiplayer, trading with each other, a better economy, little mini games to play with each other, better explore together, lots of content is going to have to go with that multiplayer. And also think about this every time we get an update, there's improvement to the terrain. That's one of the reasons why we are always having resets, so I think that it's almost a given that we can say that there's going to be a massive improvement to the worlds, to the space, to everything, along with multiplayer. I really think that multiplayer is going to be a small feature.
Rainforest planets. That I know that it will probably really hard to render, but really dense rainforest planets where you can only land in certain areas, and once you go into the bush, you're covered in it. You can only see the sunlight in certain ways between the trees. That will be really cool. But I know that the rendering power for that, even the Pro will probably struggle with it. PCs will be fine. Maybe the Xbox Pro X, whatever it's called, will probably be fine with it. But the PlayStation will probably struggle with the rendering.
I agree. We got a new caller on the show. We got Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing, bud?
Hey, it's good to be back. I was here last night. I just come in, saw you were on, and got your little notation that you're on, and I'm glad to be here. And it sounds like y'all are talking about some good stuff. So hello, everybody.
How you doing, bud? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Pretty much just talk about some update speculation and things like that.
Nice.
I mean, multiplayer, I think is a given, but I think it's going to be a small feature in comparison to a lot. I think I think they've started working on this update since the old build test was uploaded to the Steam private branch.
I'm glad you think that. I kind of saw it as, multiplayer being a big bulk of the next update. But even if it's just 50% of it, I'm happy with that. I don't think anyone can complain with 50% of that content being multiplayer and the rest of it being new terrain, new features, things like that.
Well, think about it. There's no way this is their biggest update if it's only multiplayer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look back at so we've had 3 major updates, right? And if you look back at the kind of like the route that they've taken. The first update was Foundation, and that introduced all the base building and everything, right? And then they came out with Pathfinder, and pay close attention to what they called it too, right? Because Foundation, this was the foundation on which we're going to continue to build this game. That's what it was intended for. When they added Pathfinder, when it added vehicles, those vehicles were implemented in with additional base building components, as well as being able to use it within the planet that you built your base in. And then Atlas Rises added story and missions and everything else. And they've even added more base building content and more upgrades to vehicles, like what to do with your freighters, being able to warp and all that other stuff. So I think when they come out with next, they're going to revisit every single update that they've come out with and all the content that's in those updates, and they're going to polish all of that, as well as add additional new content, additional content that we haven't even really thought about. That's what those surprises are going to be. I hate to tell people this, and I have my own opinion about it. I don't believe VR is going to be a thing. I think they're looking into it. I think they're hinting it, maybe through where, I don't know, but I really don't think it'll be in the game, because when they came out with the announcement for it to be on Xbox and Wii game, if you look at the rest of the consoles or the rest of the platforms that it supports, PS4, PC, PlayStation 4 Pro, all those are listed at the bottom, right? Because that's how it's marketed. If it was on VR and it had VR support, it would have listed it down there at the bottom, showing VR support. And it doesn't.
And that would have helped sell more copies as well. And I can't agree with you more that I don't think VR is a part of this update.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I think it's coming. I think it's down the road. I just don't think it's. I hope people don't get disappointed when they find out, oh, we're not getting VR next. Oh, bummer. If we do, great, fantastic for the people who have VR. They're going to have a blast with it. But in my own opinion, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I share that same opinion.
Yeah.
So, I think it was, let's see, hold on, let me go back to my screen here. Andy, who was it you that was saying that you don't think Waking Titan's going to get in the way of good advertising for the game?
No, I think that was me, Cobra.
I said it before, but I think it was Dave or Jeremy. I'm not sure.
Okay. Since a lot of people don't like Waking Titan, especially people that are outside the community, how do you feel like they could change this to make it, or how do you see this going down? Do you think that we're going to see like an announcement from Microsoft, not Hello Games, but from Microsoft, this E3, with a new trailer, even though Waking Titan's still going.
Yes, I do. They may not show footage. They may show a clip or two, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of information at the E3 as far as, I think they're going to come out and they're going to present like maybe like a little 30-second clip or, you know, a minute clip, if at that, of No Man's Sky. And they're going to say, that's right, people, No Man's Sky on Xbox this summer. Boom, done. And they're going to leave it at that. And then I think Waking Titan will finish playing out its role this, I guess you can call it this season of Waking Titan.
So you're saying that they won't, you don't think that they're going to try and entice people with what is indexed? You think it's just going to be like pretty much like a No Man's Sky ship flying and all of a sudden the logo and then that's it?
I mean, maybe, you know, like I think what you'll end up seeing, and if you do see like little aspects of Next, they're going to be like flashes. You know how some kind of like they do like a splash trailer where they just show flashes of scenes or things going on, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's just, this is what's in the game. Yeah. You might just see flashes of what's going to happen in Next, and you're not going to get the full picture. You're just going to get like a little sampling of it.
Yeah, I see. That would make sense too. That would make sense. We got Cuz What on the show. What's up, Cuz?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Cobra?
Nothing much, bud. Just having some fun talking about update speculation and you know, ARG stuff. Pretty much just all over the place. What brings you on?
Oh, you guys were talking my favorite topics, so I thought I'd just jump on. So
you found the right place.
Exactly. So, yeah, I was just with the update. I mean, I don't know how they're going to really do it. I mean, the ARG just sort of confuses the situation, but they're going to have to drop some kind of trailer for, you know, for this Xbox, you know, drop. So. It's going to be interesting how they balance it. I think they're going to probably maybe try to intertwine the ARG somehow into maybe the trailer drop somehow. You know, but
it's interesting that you said that, because it's in my opinion that it was never going to leak, because Sean Murray's announcement of Next and Xbox was actually part of the ARG itself. I mean, all the puzzling we had to do just to get to 11 BST. All that puzzling that we had to do just to get to the announcement. And so you're right. They could actually tie in some stuff, some advertisements through the ARG with Xbox. And I think, you know, if I was Allison Smith running this ARG, I would start redesigning the ARG to kind of like include Xbox communities. I would find a way to drop a little bit of crumb trails that's specifically tailored to the Xbox player base and draw them in.
Well, how do you mean, though? Like how would they do that? Because they don't do that now with PS4 PC users. I mean, the ARG is just the ARG. It doesn't matter what console it's on, right?
Well, no, you're right. But it matters because it's already out on 2 consoles, so they wouldn't have to. We already bought it,
right?
You know what I'm saying? We've already bought this game. We own it, and we know Waking Titan brings us to another update. But Xbox people, they're a buyer beware crowd. You know, they're going to sit there and watch this. Some people are ready to pounce on it. We got to entice these guys somehow, or Hello Games and Allison Smith does. And for someone from the Xbox community, they got no idea what's going on, man. This is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Right. And I think,
but, you know, I'm sorry, Cobra, go ahead.
If to tailor it to them would be a way to advertise as well. That way we can go ahead and start getting little advertising bits inside the ARG for the Xbox community. We don't need to be advertised to. We know an update's coming. We know it's big. We've already lived through the updates, so we kind of know the history of what we get. But I don't want to see this opportunity left on the table to do a good campaign for Xbox.
Right. Well, and you know, so, and I love the ARG. I follow it. I do. I don't participate as much because, I get lost in the translation of what's going on. But I do follow it, and I do listen and see how people are responding to it. But if I want to learn about No Man's Sky, I don't go to the ARG. I go to YouTube and I go to Twitch and I listen to Cobra when he streams, and I listen to Just Jared, and I get my content that way because that to me is more informative than the ARG. The ARG is very cryptic. So to try to entice people to come to No Man's Sky through the ARG would kind of be like shooting yourself in the foot, wouldn't it?
And I'm glad you said that because I think there's a lot of people that are like you on that. They go to YouTube to find out if they like a game or not. Do I want to buy this game? Is it what I'm looking for? Well, let me go check YouTube. That way I don't go buy something and I'm, upset. It wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, but at the same time, I find the ARG extremely intriguing. So I don't want the ARG.
I love it.
I love the ARG.
I love it. Oh, it's awesome.
I think it's too slow. I think Titan's sleeping like Bill Cosby gave him something.
That was good. That was.
It's the Waking Titan, the ARG this time around. It's a lot more subtle. It is. It's not as interactive as it was. Well, it's interactive. It's not as powerful. It's not keeping up.
That's a good thing, Cobra?
No, I want it more powerful. You know what I mean?
Well, but for the new people though.
I think it needs to be louder. For the new people, it needs to be louder. It's too subtle right now, and it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, a dead end. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. But before, it had us all up in the middle of the night listening to radio stations, and that was really freaking cool, man.
I think it needs to be more collaborative, like it was last time. Last time, we had to solve the puzzles, which gave us our ID number, and then that over time, all the ID numbers were checked in, and that essentially gave us an image. I think,
and it really made everybody feel involved.
Yeah, I think now, like, you have a few puzzles that some really creative and really talented people figure out almost right away, or it may take them an hour or two. And then that part of the ARG is done and is solved until the next round. So it feels like an eternity until the next round of the ARG. And unlike last time where, we got a task and we had a few days to figure it out. Some people were a little bit slower to get those in. And once they were, maybe...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I agree. We got a new caller on the show. You're using a first name. I don't know what you want to be known by. How you doing, bud? What's your name?
I think I have a little problem here.
We can hear you. First time callers. I love it. I love it.
I was worried about doing that too.
Hey, Cobra, so check this out, right? So the ARG thing. If this iteration of the ARG happened last year, do you think that people would be just as intrigued? Because my perspective of it is that we know what Waking Titan is now. A lot of people do. We've already experienced it once. This is a rehash of the same thing, just different puzzles, and I think it's being delivered kind of more intermittently, right? Because the hype is over with. Like, when we first got a taste of what Waking Titan was, like, what the hell's going on? Where's this going? What is this? And people were really like into it. Now we know what it is, so it's not so much a mystery as it's just trying to figure everything out.
I disagree. Before, we had cassette tapes going out. We had packages and things. I had a package delivered to me. We had actors. We had Emily. We had Elizabeth. Oh, yeah. We had all this cool stuff, man. It was just like every time you turned around, you're like, I'm being entertained to the end of time. This is cool.
It was awesome.
And this time, more entertaining. There's just not that much.
Yeah.
Do you think 505 and the whole Xbox release sort of just maybe is cutting this ARG in half, and they're trying to piece it back together now?
I tell you, well, yes, I think they're piecing things back together because remember how it started up really super strong and then it just completely died, just dead. It's like nothing. And I think maybe they were waiting for this Xbox deal to go through, and maybe they didn't have an answer, and all of a sudden they got an answer, and then that kind of threw a wrench in things. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's a train of thought to go down. A big shout out to Hidden Panda for the donation. Says shout out to empty benches.
Nice. Typically, how does has anybody ever played an ARG all the way through, completely and fully? How do ARGs end? Because I don't, as much as I love it, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this going, forever.
I agree with you.
It's going to have to come to a close.
I agree with you. Yeah, and when I first heard that this was going to come out in summer next in Xbox, and then I thought, oh my gosh, how's Waking Titan going to keep us entertained for that long?
Right.
But I've never played another ARG before. This is the first one, to be honest. So I'm not sure.
I'm hoping I'm hoping that the trailer that gets dropped answers the ARG. Whether we have an avatar or we rescue. Not necessarily Emily, but another character or something like that occurs to where it gets tied in that way. I don't know.
Or maybe that's what they're working on. Maybe they're trying to. Maybe that's the route the ARG is going. Maybe that's what's taking them so long, is they're having to wait till the E3 comes out so they can integrate into that.
I tell you what, as soon as we see what they're doing with Ware, which could be tomorrow, when we see what they're going to be doing with the dev kits, the winners of the submissions, and the $1,000 check, and things like that, I think that we're going to see a massive improvement in the ARG as far as it being just a bigger splash. I think it's going to get more interesting after we see who's going to get these dev kits and what they are, if they're going to get a dev kit. I think that's where we're lingering right there. As soon as that hits, I think it'll take off. It'll get big just like before. At least that's what I'm hoping. We got a new caller. Christian, are you there?
Yes. Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm fine. Thanks. How are you guys?
Doing great, man.
Good.
Doing great. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, dude.
I feel honored, actually. As you can hear, I'm not an English-speaking person. It's not my first language, so I hope you'll be patient with me. I had a very long work day, so.
Well, hey, look, you got one up on me. I only know one language, and I barely speak that one properly. So.
No, I wouldn't say that.
A lot of people would, trust me.
Coming from Cobra, the guy I call with the golden voice, man. You got the golden voice, Cobra, and you know it.
Thanks. Well, there was an information repository once, and in my video I said, guys, check out this information suppository. What brings you on the show, Christian?
Yeah, I listened to something yesterday. I think Snow said something about the missing technology plan. And I just looked, I maybe you remember it. I thought it was Snow, and I think it's the remembrance he was talking about.
Oh, the remembrance?
Yes.
Yeah, he did mention it.
Okay, has he found out what it was? I thought he was missing. I think it's the remembrance, but I can't find anything in the. I'm on the game right now, and I can't find anything. He said on page 5, and there's nothing there.
Huh.
Cobra, I'm not interrupt, but somebody, I don't know if they're trolling, but somebody in the chat keeps saying that the WereDev site has throwing new stuff in right now. Now, somebody may be just messing around. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt y'all. Go ahead.
No. This was just a little thought. The reason I called, but actually, I would like to talk about all the mobbing and all the stuff that's happening with the Xbox community. It took me a long time to get involved in the discussion because I just played the game and had fun. And then I saw, they're like blaming Cobra and all the YouTubers for all the shit that happened. And sorry. And then I just got involved, but I'm more like I write in forums, and every time I see something, I just talk to the people and tell them, oh, it's nice that you still inform yourself about a game you don't interested in. Thank you. And just like, I'm not ridiculing anybody, but I just have a little fun with them. So to be positive about the game. I'm not sure if it helps, but it's like a little message. Maybe this could help.
I think it all does.
Okay.
You know, in the end.
Oh yeah.
Do you like the game? You enjoy it? Have you been enjoying it?
Yes. Yesterday I finally made it to a hop. I'm in Eisentem, and so yes, now I'm finally there after 150 hours on my third or fourth save. I'm not sure. I don't know anymore. I think I have about 800-900 hours in No Man's Sky. I can't tell anymore.
Okay, so Armand, I guess, has been one. Is this all new? I think this is new.
I think so.
It says, word from the founder. As the founder of WearTech, I am proud to count you as a new member of our ever-growing development community that we have worked so hard to create. I created this product with the intention of improving the lives of many loved ones. I am proud of the achievements of my company, and I hope that you too will contribute to the successes and the creation of revolutionary and innovative applications for my invention. I wish you a pleasant journey through the world of dreams, and good luck. Word from the CEO. When I started working on this project, everyone was skeptical. We had to go through a lot before people took us seriously, but I never stopped believing that we would change the world for the better. Now, it's my privilege to welcome you to our development community. We have the power in our hands to create revolutionary projects that will change our way of life. You have been given the possibility to make a difference. Okay, so that's... there's a lot of stuff on here. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. More confusion.
Yeah. We were just talking about there not being enough. Now here's too much. See, Where is proud to announce the creation of Where Learn Initiative. Drive by our research and development team. Where Learn's objective is to develop our employees' minds and expand our products to new horizons. The first step in the Where Learn roadmap was to carefully select a series of scientific conferences attended by some of the most renowned experts of the human mind. We're now sending motivated employers to gather knowledge at these conferences and bring it back to our community. If you are an employee of Where, would like to participate in this initiative and be given the chance to win a ticket to one of the selected conferences, read through the details in the pamphlet available on the internal drive, and then send your application to wherelearn@wheremail.cloud. In the content of your message, don't forget to specify the title of your chosen conference, the city where the conference is being held, and why you think you are the best candidate to attend one of these conferences. Thank you and good luck. Okay, and now here we got dates. We got February 1st, 2018. What's this? 10th annual conference, the impact of, here's the conferences.
What's with the January 5th date, though? What you're reading there is months old.
February 6th, 2018. Yeah, these are old. Okay, so here's a bunch of different conferences. The effects of fear on your brain. So this, I can't. Notes on locations. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Where research and development. The middle of the inverted pendulum could feed the most logical minds. Its shape will light the spark of creativity. 04925. Okay, this is, wow. What?
Wow.
Let's see. That's one says research and development. 3, imposing surroundings help ideas to be taken seriously. Surrounded by water, exhaling serenity at the junction by the lake. So is this another live drop?
Yeah.
Development Where SDK. Ooh, look at that. What is that? That's not part of the game, is it? What is this?
Man.
Is that? Nah, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. That looks cool. I can't see the chat. I don't know what everybody's saying. Make your dream a reality, whether you are creating Wear games, social experiments or experiences, or education apps. It is excessively easy to develop software for the Wear headset. With your licensed programs and easy-to-learn native SDK, you can use your favorite tools and game engines to create innovative experiences to learn more about all the supported tools, contact Wear customer service. What's up? Why'd you OMG?
This is crazy. I am tripping on the on what I'm seeing.
So am I. I mean, is that part of the game? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It looks like it is. Oh my
I'm
God.
frantically trying to get on my computer and try to look this up.
This is like wow.
This is like a metaphor for like
some type of like speech
tool.
Introduction to best practices. As we know, being able to play your own dream is absolutely mind-blowing and opens in an endless world of possibility, but you have to be aware that in order to create awesome content, you have to respect certain security and content rules. In this guide, we will provide you with some tips to make sure that you are creating user-friendly experiences. Safety first. Although the hardware and software of the headset is incredibly safe, you as a developer have the responsibility to make sure that all the security mechanisms are working perfectly within the frame of your application. Any failure in respecting these requirements could cause you to lose your right to publish the game or even lose your developer's license. To learn more about the safety rules, please read our safety guidelines. Content requirements. If your application doesn't comply with our content restrictions and requirements, we will refuse the right to publish it on our device. If you plan to publish an application, please first read our content requirements. And then it says, try. The suggestions that we state in our guidelines are not the only things that should guide your project. As a company that is always looking to innovate, we strongly encourage you to try as many different techniques as you can. Maybe you'll create the next revolutionary application. Are we talking about modding here? Is that what that sounds like?
You know what it sounds like to me? I mean, I hate to throw this out here, but when I'm seeing everything, creating your own dream and the headset and all that, I'm thinking virtual reality. But I mean, I don't want to say that, but I just weird. I'm just.
Well, in the game, we are in a simulation though, so we're in sort of a virtual reality already.
Right.
And I think it's sort of like are we playing into this tool that's going to allow us to break out of it, basically, and have unlimited base building, or see other players' avatars, or see other players' ships. We're sort of, that tool is basically creating that environment to happen, or that simulation or dream to occur. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Makes more sense.
The next page says content guidelines. As a company that cares about the quality of content that is published on our platform, we are providing you with content guidelines. By following these rules, you can be sure that your game will be published on our platform. Rating system for video games. All video games distributed on Wear headset will need to have a rating from the ESRB, PEGI, or any other national regulatory body. General content guidelines. As general rule, your application will be evaluated by a submission committee. In the case, where your application is not accepted by our committee, you will be provided with a report stating why your application was refused. You have 3 attempts to resubmit your application to the committee. If you fail the third review, we will not publish your application for the Wear headset. Here is a list of elements that could cause your application to be refused. Pornographic or sexually explicit content, poor system performance, racist or highly offensive content, use of unlicensed tools, copyright violations, major technical issues, and major security issues. Then we go up to first steps. Get involved in the Aware community. Once you get involved in the community, subscribe to our newsletter to know more about breakthroughs and hottest projects. Join our official Discord to discuss the collaborate with members of our ever-growing development community. Get involved in the community activities, and you might get the chance to win cryptocurrency to help you finance the development of your applications. What?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
This is beyond an ARG at this point.
Yeah. Set up an installation. Minimum required calibration. Warning. Please be sure to read the security guide before using the Wear headset for the first time. Software installation. First, download the Wear application from our website onto your PC or mobile device. Oh, it gives a... Okay, well, that's the WearTech website. Follow the on-screen instructions to install the application. Hardware calibration. Charge the hardware by using the provided power cable provided in the box. We recommend waiting until it reached 100% charge. Then once the application is installed, just plug your headset into your device using the provided USB Type-C cables. Then follow the instructions on the screen. The system will notify you once calibration is complete. It's as simple as that.
We asked for a hard ARG, didn't we? If I remember correctly.
we were just talking about that. And they're like, oh, really? I want it? Okay, here it is. You have it.
Okay, keeps going. We got WearTech 101. The WearTech headset uses patented EEG and TACS system to allow seamless integration into personalized workspace into the Dreamscape and all of your favorite games. The technology behind our headset can be difficult to understand, so we've created this introductory guide to help developers. What is EEG? Sorry. EEG stands for electro... we'll forget that. It's a description of the electrical... see, that's what I was talking about there. I can't remember your name. I'm not looking at the screen here. That's what I was talking about my English, Christian. To communicate with one another. So by measuring this electrical activity, we can understand more about what is happening inside the brain. What is TOCS? TOCS stands for transcranial alternating current simulation. We use the TOCS and Wear headset to stimulate the frontal and temporal lobes of the user's brain with low frequency electrical signals. Because the brain cells use electricity to communicate with one another, we can use our patented TOCS system to amplify the desired brain activity patterns. Then it's got some weird stuff down there at the bottom. I don't know what that is. Probably just articles of actual research for real.
It's a good thing for Hello Games that more players aren't like me, because I would leave them standing with their hands in their pockets. I'd be waiting on my update, and they'd be waiting on me to take action. I'd be waiting on the update and see who can last longer.
Standoff.
Brainwave frequencies. There are 4 categories of brainwave frequencies, ranging from the most active to the least active. They're often measured in cycles per second, CPS. Beta waves, 15 to 40 CPS, low amplitude, but high frequency. The fastest of the brain waves alternate. So this is, I don't even know what this really means. I mean, this, when we dream, our brains move from delta wave frequencies to the theta wave frequencies. Typically, this is also accompanied by rapid eye movement, REM, which is characteristic of active dreaming. Understanding the different brain waves can help developers to understand how the Wear headset functions and to make better use of the platform. There's also some more small text down there. It looks like could be possibly real articles for research of brain stuff. I've seen them use that before. Then we're going to skip up here to design. Gameplay length. As a developer, you have to allow the user to define their own session duration. The ability to set a timer as to when the user to wake up is mandatory. Ooh, Additionally, a health warning should always be displayed before the title screen that a gameplay session shouldn't exceed 6 to 8 consecutive hours for the health reasons. We will provide you a more complete list of health and safety warnings at the time of your submission. Save game. Developers should be mindful of the user's need to rest their mind outside of the gameplay. Users should always have the freedom to be able to suspend their game, create a save, and be able to return to the exact same point where they left off. It's recommended to have an in-game reminder as to when the user should take a break, as it is expected that they might lose track of time. I wonder if that's like a VR warning about wearing the headset. If VR too long could actually damage your eyes.
Sounds like it. And I'm not big on the belief of that the VR is the end all be all in this next update, really.
No,
but that really sounds like that echoes it.
That's why I was kind of saying earlier. You know, kind of when he was talking about the headset earlier, it was throwing me off. But it's still, I'm like you. I'm still kind of up in the air. You know, I'm getting a lot of stuff. But man, I'm glad that I'm glad this came on and we got to see it all together.
Because imagine.
Go ahead, Cobra.
Imagine how we're using the headset. I mean, no, gosh, reset. Imagine how when we're playing the game, right? Some of our streams could be anywhere from 4 to 10 hours or even longer. I've seen them. They're all over YouTube. Like, we play this game for long lengths of time. So, and that was, I think, a concern of Sean, saying that I don't know if you, in an interview, he said, I don't know if people would use the headset, but it's more like if we ever did, it would be like, put it on, check it out. Hey, that's cool. Take it off and play. So with the amount of time that we all stream and play this game, maybe it would be smart if Hello Games actually did put a little reminder saying, hey, warning, you might want to take this off for a little while. So I don't know. VR, it's their fault. Okay. If people get mad there's no VR, because that's what this sounds like to me.
So that'd be a little like Netflix, though, telling people in between episodes that maybe they ought to get off the couch for a little while.
Well, they kind of do already. They make sure that you're still alive.
You're still watching.
Yeah,
you're still watching.
Yeah.
I think. But is it more of a disclaimer for someone who develops an idea and they're developing it through using a VR platform versus where saying, hey, this is how you have to do it, basically, as a guideline, through VR, because that's two totally different things, because it's where doing it versus, any one of us just, who enjoy VR producing some kind of, product, using VR.
Even though I'm still watching this, or I'm reading this and everything, and I'm learning more, and it still seems like it has hints of VR, I still want to hold my opinion that I don't think this has anything to do with VR. I'm sorry. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Then it goes on to say accessories. While you might be experienced in creating an amazing world for the user to explore, you can also become a master of innovation by creating amazing accessories for the players to use while using the device. One of our main design rules is comfort. Comfort should always be the priority, as we don't want the user to feel discomfort during or after the use of the device. As a developer, you can use the same application form to submit your accessory concepts. So while I'm going to the next screen, I want to hear everybody's opinions. And I know we just got done saying something about it, but officially, what do you guys think? Modding, VR, or just lore?
Well, if it's VR and they're worried about comfort, man, I don't know. My only issue with that is I like to snack when I'm playing video games. I don't know how I'm going to feed myself with that thing over my face.
I think it's lore. I just think it's it's to entice us down that road, and they very well could have a mode or something that would accommodate like a VR experience, but I have to constantly remind myself this is an ARG,
right? Yeah.
It's trying to trick me, and it's trying to get me to constantly take the bait on certain things, and I have to just constantly think I'm living in a virtual reality world when I'm looking at this. It's not based in reality. So
right, exactly.
But I still think that the dev kits that are going to go out I think those are intended for the modding community. I think that people win those kits will be able to use those to mod the game.
Well,
I think the VR aspect of it is going back to the lore, right? It's because we are stuck in a simulation. And if you think about it, as many hours as we spend, we've actually taken this game beyond what its initial intent was. We've created our own games within this game as a community.
I don't think any dev kits are going out. I don't. No. And because if you're looking at it, Armand right here, he's been picked. That's what we're looking at. He's been picked to have the dev kit. This is his introduction to using it and the rules and how he's supposed to go about doing it. So Armand here, we're inside his account. Okay. The live drop with the USBs, we were able to get his login information and his password. So now we're inside his account. Armand is sick. Remember, his girlfriend left a message when you call his number saying he can't come to the phone. He's sick. Right. His condition's worsened. Okay, so we don't know what that's about, but this is his developer account. And so he's been picked to win this dev kit. So I think this is what it is. And I don't think anybody else is going to get this email and get sent this device and get all these warnings and things like that. I think Armand is the winner.
But isn't he part of the company? I thought he was part of Where.
No, I don't think so. I think he's just a developer.
One of the developers, okay.
What if... I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to say, we're going down the same path that we went down with the first iteration of Waking Titan, right? We always were wondering who the heck Emily was. What was she all about? Where is she? She's been missing all this time. We find out at the end that Emily is the Atlas. What if Armand, right? He's missing. We don't know where he's at. He's sick, supposedly. We haven't heard from him. We're breaking into his account, stealing all his documentation and information, finding out stuff about it, right? What if
I see where you're going? I like this.
Right? What if he's the next what do you call it? The next protagonist. The next protagonist
actor
in No Man's Sky. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so. You might be right. And
probably the best theory.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are answering the question whether I said if it was VR or modding or lore. A lot of people are saying lore, and I can't agree more. I think this is just a story. It's lore. No one's getting a dev kit, I don't believe. That this is it. We're seeing the dev kit being delivered to or offered to Armand. That's what all this is. So we got game realism, developers who realize games addressing sensitive topics including death, suicide, terrorism, crimes against a religion or senseless act of violence will see their game removed from the store and will receive a fine up to $100,000. Any situation in a game that may cause a traumatic experience for the user is prohibited. Photosensitive seizures. A photosensitive warning should be seen before any title screen of any games present in our store. The warning should read as below. If you or any of your relatives have a history of seizures or epilepsy, consult a doctor before playing. If you experience one or more of these symptoms while playing, altered vision, dizziness, lightheadedness, jerking of the arms or legs, disorientation, nausea, confusion, immediately stop and consult a doctor. Okay, now we're down to the last section, security. Beware of pickpocketers. What? Beware pickpockets. While using the Wear headset, you will be in a state of deep sleep, totally unaware of your surroundings. Be sure to use the Wear headset in a safe environment and protect your belongings. That's pretty cool.
Very, very good info there. Very important. I'm glad that
I feel like I'm actually giving a presentation on Wear. Okay, security. Let's learn a little bit about security. Even in the sweetest dream, your password can be cracked. Never give out your personal information anywhere inside the dreamscape. If someone approaches you in your dream space, asking for personal information, contact the Wear Tech support and report them. That's really cool. You can't do that with VR, so yeah, this is lore. Right. Okay, we got a special thanks. Where would like to say a big thank you to our day one partners. Without you, none of this could have happened. Man, I'm really tripping over my words right now. So then we have the list of the developers who posted the Wear logo on all of their game developing sites. Then the last one, we got safety guide. Important safety information. Read before use. Read these instructions carefully before using your headset for the first time. If you do not follow these guidelines, you could expose yourself or others to brain damage or electrocution. You are responsible for the safety of other users that may use your device. Ooh, that's pretty big responsibility right there. Can I use your Wear? No, you're careless.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the lore. I feel it now. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Ensure that your sleeping area is safe. While using the product, you will not be aware of what's around you. What you see and feel in your virtual space will not match the real world. You may move while using the device like you would during normal sleep. It's very important to clear your sleeping area of anything that could cause injuries, such as sharp objects, heating sources. It is also recommended that you sleep alone in the center of your sleeping surface to avoid any chance of falling. I fall even without the Wear, so it's okay. Ensure you are able to use the product safely. If you have a history of psychological disorders, sleep disorders, or any pre-existing medical conditions that could affect your capacity to safely wake up, consult your doctor before use of the headset. Do not use this product if you are under the influence of intoxicants. So, Drunk Taco, you're going to have to change your YouTube channel, buddy. Physical and psychological effects. Though our scientists have, I'm really tripping. I've been reading too much. Though our scientists have proven that no long or short-term effects could result from intensive use of the Wear headset, we strongly recommend that you stop using the product and consult your doctor if you start experiencing physical symptoms such as headaches, nosebleeds, tinnitus, or psychological effects such as panic attacks or anxiety. Ooh. Caring for the device. Before using the headset, be sure that it is comfortably adjusted to fit around your head. Extended use of a poorly fitted headset could result in the headset falling during usage, marks left on the forehead, or discomfort and itching. Radio frequency interference. Some of the radio waves emitted by headsets could interfere with the functionalities of certain electronic devices near you. If you're using any medical implants that could dysfunction because wave interference, consult your doctor before using the device. Look how much work has gone into this. What the heck? Can you imagine the time it took for someone just to go through and make all this stuff up?
Deep lore right there.
That is.
General use time getting the update out.
What's that?
They could have spent that time getting the update out.
No, this is more than likely Allison Smith creating all this with the guidance of probably verbal guidance of Hello Games. Instructions in electrical safety. While the Wear headset is intended to be used without any power supply or cable, you should charge the device only by using the cable provided by Wear. Any other form of charging device could alter the functionality of the device. We're almost through this. Safety precautions for direct sunlight and temperature. Do not expose the device to extreme temperatures or excessive moisture. This device contains a lot of very sensitive electronic components that could be damaged by these conditions. Safety precautions for cleaning. After usage of the device, it is highly recommended to clean the device of all accumulated sweat and moisture. Well, it just talked about, keeping it away from moisture. Always dry clean the product to avoid liquid damage. Okay, we're almost on the last section here. General precautions. Do not drop the hardware. If you observe any damage to the device, such as leaks or broken components, contact the technician before resuming the use of the device. If you notice anything strange during the usage, like overheating or repeated disconnections, contact Wear Tech support before resuming the use of the device. Do not try to open the headset. Use only accessories or software provided or approved by Wear Tech for use of the device. Do not paint the product. About Wear headset regulatory agency identifications. This device was tested and found to comply with the limits of a Class B digital device by the FCC. These limits are designed to provide reasonable protection against harmful interference in a residential installation. The equipment generates use and can radiate radio frequency energy, and if not installed and used in accordance with the instructions, may cause harmful interference to radio or television reception, which can be determined by turning the equipment off and then back on. FCC RF radiation exposure statement. The transmitter must be co-located or operating in a conjunction with other antenna or transmitter. This equipment complies with FCC RF radiation exposure limits set forth and uncontrolled environment. This equipment should be installed and operated with a minimum distance of 20 centimeters between the radiator and your body. That is it.
That's insane.
That's all there is.
So Allison Smith, she hired an attorney for sure and had someone write that up, because that's pretty deep or something. But
that's covering all the.
Wasn't where like outside the United States? If I'm
China.
Well, China, yeah.
But would they be with the FCC? Would they even care about that? I don't know.
If they're selling product here, they will, in the United States, they will have to get clearance from the FCC, I think.
There's another screen here that says it's under Task Manager. It says Task Manager to do's and notes from ongoing projects, and it says where announcement missing employee in progress. That's interesting. Then it says discuss this
Armand,
task.
maybe.
Yeah, Armand, definitely. Then it says, discuss this task. R&D. Important message from the Ware Research and Development Team. Attention to all developers. One of our colleagues, Mr. Zhang, has gone missing a month ago while on a R&D tour. Isn't that one of the conferences they were talking about? Serious investigation inside the department has led to nothing of interest. And we're now asking for outside help. Please send any information concerning his potential whereabouts to, then it gives an email. Then there's another entry, R&D. All recent and potentially relevant documents found on Mr. Zhang's computer have been translated and forwarded to the developer extranet. Our team is currently trying to use this information to retrace his last steps. We're hoping that our combined efforts can bring light to this affair and bring Mr. Zhang back home safely. In hope of attaining maximum reach and visibility, the R&D department also set up a Twitter account to serve as another relay of information. Then it gives a Twitter account. We'll go to that here in a second. R&D, update on R&D search. All information of interest sent to the email will be rewarded with codes to our exclusive Ware wallets, which can be used for special package purchase. What? All right, let's go to the Twitter account. All right, that's just weird. All right, so it's not Armand missing. There's a new guy missing.
You got one sick and one missing.
Okay, so it says, notice to developers, please check the extranet for extremely important announcement. What's the extranet?
That would be their internal internet.
Let's see.
Is it intranet or extranet?
Extranet.
Yeah, if it was their internal, it would be intranet.
No, internet, that's what they call it, that everybody accesses. It makes sense that the opposite would be a closed system.
Yeah, my work is called the internet.
So that looks like that's it. So we got another person missing. That's a little strange.
Yeah, it'll be intranet with an E for internals.
Intranet.
Yeah.
So that's the next part of the puzzle. We got to figure out what happened to this dude. I think he was assassinated.
Definitely. Wow.
So he's definitely dead.
Or he put on that headset and didn't read everything or something.
He got too close to moisture.
Took it outside.
That's crazy.
That's
absolutely crazy.
I'm processing right now.
So there's no clear task of what we need to do in the sense of like, is there a puzzle? Is there a crossword that we need to solve? Or,
So that's the thing that's been about this whole ARG all the time, is that they present information like this, and we have to figure out what it is that we're supposed to do. That's part of the puzzle. And once we figure out what we're supposed to do, then we got to solve it. So no, I don't know if there's no clear cut. You guys need to go and do this. I think we need to figure out what the next step is, and then let the geniuses behind. Because man, I'm lost. There's no way in heck I could have ever figured out any of this stuff. And I tried in the very beginning. I tried to figure out some of the stuff, and I was like, this is so beyond me.
Well, some of the puzzles in the first round, I felt were within most of our grasp. The majority of us, it was like print out this wheel, these two wheels, rotate them together. And, that's fairly simple that we could figure that out.
Right, it was instructional.
Exactly, yeah.
So what I'm going to take away from this, and what I'm going to believe and publicly, have my opinion, I think this is 100% just lore, and I don't think that it has anything to do with an actual VR device.
I agree now too.
I mean, it seems like it, so I understand why people are saying that. But
yeah, I did it first, but now that we have gotten through it, I agree.
Is there anybody else on the call that still thinks it's VR?
I don't. I agree with you, Cobra, because the logo that they have does look like a V and then ARE. So you got VR, but then the actual name of the company there in the legal documents is a W/ARE, and that's where that's not VR.
Yep.
It just looks that way in the logo, which made everybody think that's what it was going to be.
It sounds somehow like it's VR, but it's the dream stuff sounds like this Black Mirror episode. I don't know if you saw this, where they made a homage to No Man's Sky at the ending. There's a guy who has a device he can plug in and has his own universe. He can interact, and he's sleeping sort of. So I think the first part, and it's a brilliant episode. So, and at the end they come into a universe, and hey, it's procedurally generated, and it's awesome, and they see another player, and maybe it's sort of an homage, but the last part isn't. It has nothing to do with that. I'm lost. I'm totally lost. I'm sorry.
Well, I still stand by what I was saying at the beginning of my call, is that if VR was going to come out for No Man's Sky, if it was going to support it, then along the bottom of their website showing what platforms supports No Man's Sky, you would see a VR logo of some sort, because you do on almost any other game that you purchase, it'll say VR support. And No Man's Sky doesn't have that on their website at this point.
I think Sony will capitalize on it too. In my opinion, I think even though they've been kind of distant from the IP, I think that they would probably promote it with their own VR hardware.
Right. Well, and the fact that we're calling this a relaunch, because it's relaunching the game. The title is relaunching on Xbox and Wii game. All right, that was a major push probably for them. And it's going to get them. I'm sorry, I'm breaking role play here, but they are, at the end of the day, they're a business. I mean, they love their community and they love their fans and they want to support them, but they're still a business, right? And the whole idea behind them launching this on Xbox and Wii game was to generate more income, so they could continue to support No Man's Sky plus whatever other projects they have going. So, if they're going to relaunch that, you think they would have stated that it was going to have VR support when they stated it was going to release on Xbox and Wii game, but they didn't. And if they do plan on it coming out for VR, they'll probably do it later. And it is possible that they'll sell another iteration of the game, or I don't know, maybe like as an expansion. Maybe you can buy into that. for VR support.
You know, my thought, I mean, they're 100% in control of all of the information that comes out at this point. And, you know, I can't rule out that VR would be, you know, still a possibility. I don't think it's really involved in like our reality, that it's gonna, you know, that it's actually intertwined in, you know, this the wear and all that stuff. But I, you know, from all the friends I've talked to that play No Man's Sky, and you know, this would be a really great game to have, you know, a lot of resources put into VR, at least in some kind of mode capacity, where maybe they can on a planet build a base, or, you know, have some kind of limited interaction where, you know, multiple people can join in and take part in that virtual reality. But, you know, like you were saying just now, from a business aspect, yeah, they haven't advertised it. They haven't, you know, there would be things that would be coming out, you know, outside of what they can control that we would see. You know, whether that be other companies getting involved, you know, that aren't where, that would be, you know, investing in those types of things that would just be more of, you know, public knowledge and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'm all about, I'm curious about VR, and I'll eventually own a VR headset later on down the road, but I probably won't do that till after the PlayStation 5 releases.
So going back to the picture, I put it back on the screen. How many of you think that that's just something they made in Blender, or do you think that's in game? I don't see any assets that we are familiar with seeing in No Man's Sky, like the stairs that look familiar, the wall stones. Yeah, the screens. They're more. Yep. The screens are better, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I just noticed that. You know, you're right, Cobra.
Do you see on that screen on the left hand side of the picture? If you look at that black piece of technology, it's mounted to the wall, and that wire's going to the three glowing tubes below it. Those look like the acid containers for the crafting material in the game.
And up on the right side, the screen that's up at the roof, that looks a little bit like the screen from the previous ARG thing, doesn't it? With the water droplets and what is that?
It's kind of it's really hard to make out. Same colors.
Yeah.
It is. Good point you made.
The screens that are hanging look like the screens that you can mount inside your bases. They also kind of look like the little tech that drops off of those quadruped sentinels, the little dog-looking sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the little tech device that drops off of them?
Yeah. But it's like the walls and everything are just really different. I don't recognize like the walls, the railing, the railing over there. It's like, what if that's like I don't know, new stuff that they're going to be adding into the game, like a city. I don't know.
This could be one of those places where we would go, the little technology things where we would answer the question and follow the puzzle and get the reward sort of thing. It could be one of those rooms.
It's like a stasis device room, something.
Yeah.
Cryo chamber,
I've got some of those to sell.
That's crazy looking.
Are you guys noticing the lights at the top?
I can only hope that's what it looks like. Wow.
Do you guys notice the lights at the top look like the singular circular light that you can build on your base, but instead of a circle, it's a oval.
Yeah.
Yes, it is kind of like that.
Trying to look at the science terminal to see if any of those arms coming down kind of look like what we're seeing.
No, you see the arm at the dimensional matrix when you look at the description. The thing that the dock sentinel drops. You see there's an arm attached to it.
Right, yeah.
On the first page, maybe. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I think is so cool about the lore. You know, I think it's sort of like a reality version of, what would be present if you were to walk out your door, go into the next building in your, in reality, and you would see, No Man's Sky, building in real life type of thing. I think it's a play on it. It gets our imagination going, because of all of those different kinds of similarities. You can, automatically start identifying just different pieces to that room, and you're like, oh, that's what I would picture, what I'm selling in No Man's Sky, like my stasis devices or something like that. That's where I think the ARG ties in.
Unfortunately, Kyle Cobra in the chat is stating that this is a stock image, which is a bummer.
Oh.
Thanks,
Funny.
Kyle.
Unanimous.
2 hours later, after all that.
So that's
we do love to speculate, though, don't we?
Yes,
I know.
Yeah,
that was fun while it lasted.
I love the community,
is
though.
that
They do that. They call us out.
Allison Smith had to pick that picture, right? I mean, it's if indeed it is a stock image, which is what Kyle is saying. They had to handpick that picture, and they say, "Wow, there's a lot of similarities that people are seeing in the game. Let's use that."
They had to know. They had to know at least that we would be suspicious that would be what we thought it was.
Sure. For the stock picture from where? Like, where's the stock picture from? Does anybody found it? That'd be the thing I'd like to. Now I'd like to know where that stock picture. What's it of, or is it just somebody made it?
Well, if I wasn't using Mozilla Firefox, I'd be able to right-click and search on Google.
But just
Damn it, Mozilla.
quick note. I mean, I love the the community, because Kyle chimes in, and he lets us know.
Definitely.
I think all of the people here, we all take care of each other, and we start seeing things. We may be able to confirm them. We may be able to like, hey, nope, this is what it is, or but really, really cool community.
Do I hear a e-cig with a sub-ohm coil crackling somewhere?
Yeah, this should be me. Let's not talk about.
That feels good.
Kyle's saying there are links everywhere. What do you talk about? There's links everywhere.
Wow.
The ones we already went through? Or are you talking about different ones? Not sure.
Yeah,
okay. Guys, we're probably going to shut it down. This has been pretty exciting. And I guess stay tuned to Game Detectives and maybe join their Discord, because I'm pretty sure that they're working like crazy right now for the stock photo links in Google search. Yeah. Okay. Bummer. It's a bummer.
But he's right. Allison Smith did pick it. There has to be some reason why they show that way, and I think it's a clue to what we're going to see, maybe.
I agree. It could be. Yeah.
Or just flavor, right?
Yeah, it could be. Exactly.
Just playing into the lore.
I kind of wish they would have used like some kind of real picture of medical equipment instead of something that was made in Blender or Maya. Okay, guys,
super cool find, man. What a way to end the show, man.
It was,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm worried when I got online today. I'm like, I have no real topics to bring up. I hope everybody brings something good to the table when they call in, and then all of a sudden, this is cool. Had so much fun going through this with you guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks a lot, Cobra, for having us on.
All right, bud. No problem. Thank you guys so much, man. It's been an honor.
Yep.
You guys are always welcome to come on the show.
Thanks, Cobra. We'll see you. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Cobra.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out to the YouTube channel here in the chat, hanging out on Twitch and on YouTube, and listening to us wherever else you might find this video or podcast or whatever. Again, we're trying to do this show every single day, so it's a real struggle, but we're really going to try. So we'll keep going until I have the words. Once I come on here and I just don't have anything to say, I think then we'll start taking some days off. As always, love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until next time. Bye, Christian.
Bye-bye. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Jeremy, and bye, Cuz.
Everybody, I hate to throw out this interruption, but it's probably for the best. I gotta go because I don't know where I'm at.
You better put seatbelts on your ears because Cobra's about to take them for the ride of their life on Cobra TV.
And when we ship the game, not everything will be possible, but this is a game I think we're going to be making for quite a while, you know, even after it comes out.
You have these people that are going to be able to buy this game on Xbox, and they are being actively driven away by people who haven't played this game in the last year. They're going off of this whole idea that, like, Sean Murray lied in 2016, and they're still using that to steer people away from No Man's Sky. And it's an unfair criticism. We have to be louder than the people that are talking about 2016 and driving away potential, new members of our community in the Xbox crowd for something that, one, wasn't true then and is especially no longer.
So Cobra said we could record messages and they might get played on the show, and it was fine if they were strange or weird. So in the spirit of things, I thought I'd write a poem dedicated to my favorite caller in on the subcast. Okay, here we go. I cry out to the old gods, desperate for replies. Subcast Jason, the apple of my eye. Desperate for his attention, my adoration turns to sighs. For he notices me not, instead I play No Man's Sky. But till he notices me shall my heart forever pine, as I gaze into his demigod-like eyes. In the name of Jason I create a portal, for it is here that his next adventure lies.
Hello, Cobra Television and all the Cobras. I have a question regarding the No Man's Sky. Do you think that the No Man's Sky, is it one giant universe, or is it maybe one galaxy in multi-dimensional interfaces, where every player is in fact the same player, and there is only one person playing No Man's Sky this whole time, because of the lies? Thank you.
You tuned in to the only station in the galaxy, broadcasting right from Euclid. Whether you're watching or listening, this is Cobra TV, and this is a podcast.